Welcome to the Online Digital Marketing Podcast. We'll be discussing marketing strategies, trends, and tips that will help your business succeed in the digital age. Every episode, we'll be interviewing industry professionals and providing valuable insights on how to leverage digital tools for maximum engagement and ROI. Don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date on the latest trends in online marketing.
Imagine you're a local plumber, you're elbow deep under a client's kitchen sink, you're covered in grease, just trying to fix this really stubborn pipe.
Yeah, typical Tuesday.
Right. And your phone buzzes in your pocket, you pull it out, and you see that a short video you posted yesterday, just a really quick clip of you using this weird-looking wrench, has suddenly gone viral.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we are talking like 2 million views on TikTok. So you feel this massive rush of adrenaline, right? You think, this is it. The business is going to explode.
You're practically counting the money.
Exactly. But then, you look a little closer at the comments, and it's just thousands of teenagers from all across the globe making jokes about the shape of your wrench.
Oh, no.
You don't get a single phone call from a local homeowner. You don't book a single new job. You just got 2 million views of pure, unadulterated vanity, and it literally didn't put a single dollar in your bank account.
Yeah, that viral plumber scenario, it's kind of the perfect nightmare to start with, honestly.
It really is.
Because it completely shatters that illusion that, all attention is good attention. When you run a local service-based business, viral reach without local conversion is, well, it's basically just digital noise.
Which is really the core of our mission today on this deep dive. We're exploring a highly practical source document. It's titled, "Is a Social Media Manager Worth the Cost?"
Right.
And it's the specialized guide built specifically for business owners, particularly, if you're in home services like landscaping, contracting, plumbing.
Folks actually out in the field.
Exactly. It's to help you evaluate whether delegating your digital presence is like a smart operational expense or just an unnecessary luxury. And jumping straight past the basic marketing 101 stuff, the guide makes it super clear.
Yeah.
A real social media manager isn't just trying to get you views. They are trying to reclaim your time, build regional trust, and actually align your digital output with your operational capacity. Okay, let's unpack this. The document draws this massive line in the sand between what it calls a generalist and a dedicated strategic partner.
Right. There's a huge difference there.
Because if we're talking about a business owner parting with thousands of dollars a month, you need to know the actual mechanism of what you're buying. I mean, isn't this just someone sitting on their phone all day?
I mean, the source definitely doesn't sugarcoat this part. A generalist is essentially just a task executor.
Okay.
So you hand them a photo of a completed patio, you tell them to post it on Tuesday, and well, they post it on Tuesday.
They're just checking a box.
Exactly. They are checking a box on a content calendar. And the document argues that for a business that's looking to scale, that level of service is practically obsolete now.
Really? Obsolete?
Yeah, because a dedicated specialist, on the other hand, operates completely differently. They're managing an entire digital revenue ecosystem. They aren't just looking at that photo of the patio.
What are they doing with it then?
They're analyzing the current platform algorithms to figure out if that photo should actually be, say, a 5-second looping video with trending local audio to actively increase your regional visibility.
Oh, wow. Let me try to visualize that difference, because it feels like the gap between a digital megaphone and like a targeted conversion funnel.
That's a great way to put it.
Like a generalist is just standing on a street corner with a megaphone shouting, "We build patios," to literally whoever happens to walk by.
Right, hoping for the best.
But a specialist is acting more like a really sophisticated digital air traffic controller. They know exactly what demographics are searching for outdoor renovations in your specific zip code.
Yes, the hyper-local targeting.
Right, and they know what time those people are scrolling their feeds, and they engineer the content to land directly in front of them with a very specific call to action.
That captures the dynamic beautifully. And the source points out that a true specialist blends this really intense data analysis with creative execution.
So they aren't just guessing.
No, they don't just guess what works. They run A/B tests. They might run one piece of content focusing on the speed of your service and another one focusing on the quality of your materials. And then they actually track the metrics to see which angle drives more people to click the link in your bio.
That is super analytical.
It is. They are constantly reading the analytics to adapt to platform shifts. Like, if Instagram suddenly changes its algorithm to prioritize saves and shares over likes, which, happens constantly.
Literally all the time.
Right. The specialist instantly pivots your strategy. They start creating educational posts like 3 things to check before your pipes freeze, because that is highly shareable content.
Yeah.
Every single move is tethered to a long-term business objective.
So the skill set is actually incredibly technical. They have to be part copywriter, part graphic designer, and part data scientist.
Basically, yeah.
Hearing all that, it honestly makes me wonder why any business owner would ever attempt to do this themselves. I mean, if the mechanism of success requires tracking algorithm shifts and running A/B tests, an owner trying to do that from the front seat of their truck between jobs is just, they're setting themselves up for failure.
100%.
Which brings up a major theme in the source document, the absolute drain on billable hours.
Ah, yes, the time bottleneck. It is the silent killer of local businesses. The source actually asks you to do a very simple but somewhat painful piece of math.
I hate math, but let's hear it.
It asks you to calculate your hourly rate, like what your time is actually worth when you're out in the field doing estimates or completing actual jobs.
Okay.
So if your time is worth, say, $150 an hour, and you are spending 4 hours a week struggling to write captions, edit videos, and figure out why your Facebook page isn't loading properly,
Oh, man.
you're essentially losing $600 a week.
That is over $2,400 a month in lost potential revenue, literally just so you can be bad at social media.
Exactly.
You could hire a highly skilled freelancer for half that cost, get a way better result, and put those hours back into actually generating revenue.
What's fascinating here is how the text moves beyond just the math of reclaiming your time. And it dives deep into the psychology of what a professional can actually produce with that time.
Like the quality of the posts.
Yeah. Because when you are rushing to post something just to get it out of the way, it usually looks like an ad. And consumers today are incredibly ad blind.
Oh, for sure. We scroll right past them.
Right. They tune out those slick, overly polished promotional graphics almost immediately.
That actually brings up a huge gap in how most people understand content. Because I think we assume professional means, highly polished and expensive looking.
Right, like a Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah. But the source specifically emphasizes that the most effective content right now is actually raw, authentic, short-form video. It calls it visual proof.
Yes, visual proof. That is the currency of trust in the modern service economy. A professional social media manager understands that consumer psychology has fundamentally shifted. Well, people don't want to see a stock photo of a smiling family sitting on a pristine lawn. They want to see a time-lapse video of your landscaping crew showing up at 7 a.m., tearing out dead bushes, and completely transforming a yard.
Right, the grit.
Exactly. The unpolished, behind-the-scenes content actually converts at a much higher rate because it triggers a psychological trust mechanism.
Yeah.
The customer watches it and thinks, okay, I'm seeing the actual workers, the actual dirt, the actual finished product. This is real.
It totally eliminates the risk of the unknown. Like, if I'm going to write a $5,000 check to a contractor, I want to see them in action first.
Of course.
And if a specialist can capture that raw authenticity and package it correctly, the trust is already established before the customer even picks up the phone.
Exactly. It does the heavy lifting for your sales team.
But the visual content is really only half the battle, right? Because the source goes heavily into community management.
Yes, crucial.
Because let's say you post that great landscaping time-lapse, right? And someone comments asking for a quote. But the owner is busy laying sod, so they might not reply for 3 days.
And by day 3, that lead is completely dead. The text emphasizes that community management, so proactively engaging with comments, answering direct messages within minutes, and actively participating in local digital groups, that is where the actual conversion happens.
It's basically digital customer service.
Right. Fast response times signal to the algorithm that your account is active, which boosts your overall visibility. But more importantly, it signals to the potential customer that your business is highly operational.
Oh, that makes sense.
If you are fast in your direct messages, the assumption is that you will be fast in your service delivery.
Okay, so if a dedicated manager can rescue an owner's billable hours, engineer these high-converting authentic videos, and catch every single lead that comes through the DMs, the natural conclusion is that every business needs to hire one immediately.
You'd think so.
But I want to push back on this. Because the source document throws a massive stop sign into the middle of this logic. You cannot just slap a great digital strategy onto a chaotic business and expect a financial turnaround.
You absolutely cannot. In fact, doing that can actively harm the business.
Here's where it gets really interesting. The text outlines this incredible paradox where a highly effective social media manager can actually destroy a business if the internal operations are weak.
It's scary but true.
Let's say the manager does their job perfectly, right? They create this brilliant local campaign, the videos hit the exact right target audience, and suddenly your business is flooded with 50, quote, requests in a single day.
Sounds great on paper.
Right, but your phone system is outdated, your receptionist is on vacation, and your entire sales pipeline is tracked on a coffee-stained notepad.
A disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah. What happens? Those 50 leads go unanswered, 50 local people feel completely ignored, and they immediately go to your Google page to leave one-star reviews about your terrible customer service. You literally just paid a marketing expert to help ruin your regional reputation.
It's the digital equivalent of installing a high-speed Formula One engine into a rusty car with no brakes.
Wow. Yes.
You will go very fast right into a concrete wall. And this is exactly why the source document dedicates a significant section to an operational hiring checklist.
Okay.
Before you spend a dime on digital marketing, you have to prove that you are actually built for the growth you're asking for.
Let's get into the mechanics of that checklist then, because looking at it, it is surprisingly rigid. What are the specific internal benchmarks a business needs to hit before they're allowed to bring in a social media manager?
So the first major benchmark is having a steady, reliable pipeline of service. The text specifies that your business must be consistently generating enough active jobs to yield at least 1 or 2 high-quality photos or video updates every single week.
Well, yeah, because the manager needs raw material, right? They can't market a roofing company if there are no roofs being built.
Exactly. You cannot ask a specialist to create visual proof out of thin air.
Right.
The second benchmark, which directly addresses that paradox you just mentioned, is having an ironclad lead handling system.
Meaning what exactly?
Like, is there a dedicated person ready to answer calls during business hours? Do you have a CRM, a customer relationship management software to track follow-ups? If we connect this to the bigger picture, the source points out a really crucial dynamic.
What's that?
Businesses that already have a small, organic trickle of direct messages or steady profile views, they will see a massive accelerated ROI when they hire a manager.
Why is that? Why does having just a little bit of traction make the manager's job so much more effective?
Because it proves there is already market demand for your specific service in your specific area. And it proves your internal systems can handle a baseline of inquiries.
Oh, I see.
The social media manager isn't coming in to build a house from scratch. They're coming in to optimize the layout and add an extension. They analyze the organic traction you already have, identify why it's working, and just scale it up.
So what does the source tell the business owner who looks at this checklist and realizes they completely fail?
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Like their budget is tapped out, they only do one job a month, and they definitely don't have a CRM. Are they just locked out of the digital economy forever?
Not locked out, no. But they are strongly advised to pivot their strategy. The text is very clear. If you lack internal follow-up capacity or have a really thin content library, do not hire a full-time, comprehensive social media manager.
It's just a waste of money.
It will be a total waste of resources. Instead, the document suggests highly targeted alternatives. You start with a freelancer on a very, very narrow scope of work.
Give me an example of what a narrow scope actually looks like in practice. Because usually I think people assume social media is this all or nothing game, you know? Like you either have to be dancing on TikTok, posting on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, or you're just failing.
Right, and that is such a common trap. The source offers a great alternative blueprint, particularly for B2B business-to-business companies.
Okay, let's hear it.
Let's say you run a commercial cleaning service. You do not need viral TikToks. The text suggests hiring a part-time specialist exclusively for LinkedIn management.
Just LinkedIn?
Just LinkedIn. Their only job is to optimize the owner's personal profile, publish 2 industry-specific thought leadership posts a week, and actively prospect by sending direct messages to local office managers and facility directors.
Wow.
You literally ignore every other platform. You hyper-focus your limited budget on the exact digital room where your buyers are sitting.
That is incredibly practical. You isolate the highest converting platform, build your internal systems to catch those specific leads, and then, once the revenue actually increases, you can afford to expand your digital footprint.
Exactly, step by step.
But whether you're doing that hyper-targeted LinkedIn strategy or running a full multi-platform local campaign, we eventually arrive at the final boss of digital marketing, tracking the actual financial return.
Yes.
The battle between vanity metrics and sanity metrics.
And this is where most business owner and manager relationships just completely fall apart. Because if you aren't tracking the right numbers, you have literally no idea if the investment is working.
We talked about the viral plumber getting millions of views with no sales. That is the ultimate vanity metric. I really want to look at the mechanics of tracking real value.
Let's do it.
It's the difference between putting up a huge billboard in the middle of a desert where millions of people drive by at 80 miles an hour but can't stop, versus sending a highly targeted piece of direct mail to 100 homeowners who have active leaks in their roofs.
Exactly.
The billboard gives you massive impressions, but the direct mail gives you paying customers. So how does the source document advise owners to track the digital equivalent of that direct mail?
It requires implementing a really strict KPI framework, key performance indicators.
Yep.
The text insists that you must strip away the focus on likes, follower accounts, and broad reach.
Ignore all of it.
Ignore it. Those are top-of-funnel metrics that really only indicate brand awareness. True performance analysis, the sanity metrics, require tracking concrete, bottom-of-funnel actions.
What are those specific actions, and maybe more importantly, how are they actually tracked? Because you can't just guess that a phone call came from an Instagram post, right?
Right, you need proof.
Mm-hmm.
The document lists several key actions. Form fills on your website, quote requests, direct messages asking for pricing, and direct calls.
Okay.
And to your point about how they are tracked, a strategic manager uses specific digital tools. For example, they don't just put your main website link in a social media bio, they use UTM parameters.
UTM parameters, what are those?
They're basically little snippets of tracking code attached to the very end of a URL. So when someone clicks that link on TikTok and fills out a form on your site, your analytics dashboard explicitly says this lead originated from the TikTok video posted on Tuesday.
Oh, wow. That is the exact level of operational clarity an owner needs. You can look at a spreadsheet and say, we spent $1,000 on the manager this week, and we can directly attribute $3,000 in booked jobs to their specific tracking links.
Exactly. It makes the ROI undeniable.
Huh.
Or they might use dynamic call tracking, where the phone number listed on your Facebook page is slightly different than the one on your main website.
Oh, that's clever.
It still rings to your front desk, but the software logs it specifically as a Facebook-generated lead. That is how you measure sanity. However, the source introduces a fascinating secondary layer to this tracking, one that actually extends beyond the social media platforms themselves.
The local search synergy?
Yes.
This concept blew my mind a little bit because it fundamentally changes how we view the value of a single social media post. We tend to think of Instagram and Google as two completely separate universes.
Right, isolated silos.
But the text argues they are deeply intertwined. Explain the mechanism of how a manager posting on social media actually impacts how a business ranks on a local Google search.
It all comes down to how search engines determine local authority. Google's algorithm is constantly crawling the internet, looking for signals that a business is active, legitimate, and highly regarded by the community.
Okay.
The text explains that the social proof your manager is generating, the high-quality job photos, the community engagement, the local shares, that creates a web of digital activity.
So Google acts almost like a digital detective. It looks at your Google business profile, but then it checks your Facebook and Instagram to verify if you are actually alive and functioning.
Yes, precisely.
Yeah.
When a specialist is consistently updating your profiles, linking back to your main site, and driving traffic, it creates what the document calls a cohesive digital footprint.
A cohesive digital footprint.
Right. If your social media profiles are vibrant and responsive, and your manager is actively encouraging satisfied customers from those platforms to go leave reviews on your Google business profile, a feedback loop is created.
Oh, I see.
Google sees the localized traffic, it sees the fresh content, and it sees the cross-platform consistency. In response, it pushes your business much higher in the local search rankings when someone types in, landscaper near me.
So what does this all mean? It means the value of the social media manager isn't just confined to the app they are posting on.
Not at all.
By generating targeted visual proof and driving regional engagement, they are inadvertently supercharging your overall SEO. They are ensuring that no matter what digital door a customer knocks on, whether they find you scrolling Reels at midnight or aggressively searching Google Maps at noon, they are met with a thriving, highly trusted storefront.
It is a complete digital ecosystem, and managing that ecosystem requires a dedicated professional, so the business owner can just stay focused on the physical ecosystem of their actual operations.
Which really brings us full circle. Because for a scaling business, clinging to the belief that you can somehow handle complex algorithm shifts, design tracking URLs, and edit short-form video from your truck between job sites, it's just a recipe for burnout and lost revenue.
Definitely.
As the source document proves, when digital marketing becomes an afterthought, the return drops to zero. But if your internal systems are prepped and ready, delegating this work to a strategic partner transforms a frustrating chore into a measurable, optimized revenue stream.
Absolutely.
You get your hours back, you dominate your local market, and you stop worrying about teenagers making fun of your wrench.
Exactly.
Oh.
It is about aligning your digital ambition with your operational reality. But looking at how deeply interconnected this all is, particularly that synergy between social engagement and search engine visibility we just talked about,
Yeah.
this raises an important question. If consumer behavior continues to shift and people increasingly use platforms like TikTok and Instagram as their primary search engines to look up local businesses and verify their work through video, what happens to your traditional local search presence if your social media storefront looks completely abandoned?
Wow.
Are we approaching a reality where a dead social media page is literally the equivalent of having your business phone disconnected?
That is a terrifying and brilliant thought to leave on. If you aren't visually active in the digital spaces where your customers actually live, you might as well not exist at all. Something for every business owner to seriously evaluate as they look at their own digital footprints this week. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the real mechanics of digital marketing. Keep questioning your systems, keep exploring the evolving digital landscape, and we will catch you on the next one.
Ready to take your online business to the next level? Subscribe to our digital marketing podcast and then join our Accountability for Success Mastermind. With expert advice from industry leaders, you'll gain knowledge and insights that will help you succeed in today's digital marketing world. From social media strategies to search engine optimization, we have all the tools you need. Learn from successful entrepreneurs and take control of your online success. Join the Accountability for Success Mastermind now at bit.ly/AFSM podcast.